You know, you kind of aerodynamic. All right, so lower.
Heavy foot.
That was Bill Joyner. Hello, I'm Julia Bushkova. Today, the topic is Wieniawski Polonaise in D major, how to practice some complex spots, technically complex spots. Helping me will be my student, Lucas Gabriel, and we will start not from the beginning, but on, if we look at our music, we know that will be our second page, I guess, right? Or it's after the B minor episode. Okay, what is after that though? What goes after? Okay, and then it finishes with a flourish, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to do the flourish. I see. Okay. All right. So usually, what I would like my student to do to begin with is to play a little bit more, so we can actually go over the whole spot and see what works and what doesn't work. Now I think you already chose the spots, what work and what doesn't work, and we can just go zero on them. All right, so the first order of business, one more time, just start where you started. Okay, so here. Now what I would like is you, number one. This is not exactly the complexity yet. It's about your body. I don't want you to be so preoccupied with everything that you're doing. So stand nicer. Make sure your knees are loose. Yes, exactly, not locked. And for you, for Lucas especially, watch where your arm is. Your arm tends to go where? Too much that way. Yeah, so you don't need it. And out of the way. Exactly, so that you have freer, a little freer vibrato. Vibrato here is a little accent in the left hand. Okay, so that you can do after this. Okay, so that's the first time. Second time you go for the staccato passage. Okay, so now that is already our first episode or first example of complex technical spot. So show me how you practice that at home.
First, little shape.
Okay, so tell me, doing this right now, what are you practicing exactly? What is your goal?
Intonation and song.
Intonation in the left hand. Correct. So the first, in other words, when you have a passage like that, it's in staccato. Do you usually practice right away in staccato?
I practice later in staccato with rhythm variations to speed up a little bit.
Correct. But the very first time you would be playing it, you will be playing it, well, reading, right? Maybe you can read one time with staccato, of course, and then soon you will realize, if you don't have good thirds yet, right? So you realize that you have to fix your thirds. Now, practicing like this is fine. That is slow practice for finding intonation. So basically, you're placing fingers accurately in places, right? But if you need to fine-tune something, and I heard when you played passage as you played for me, right? It wasn't all very much in tune, right? Do you notice where the problems were?
Then I started shifting after third position.
Correct. So when you go up here, right? So even though you practice that this way, it is not yet done. So you need to look then into exactly the parts where the problem is. You will not be able to find it in such a slow tempo. You see, in such slow tempo, you're just placing everything accurately, and that goes into general cleaning of intonation. Yes, first we want to find the clean places, but then we need to place our fingers there continuously, again and again. All right, so let's do this. First order of business, in order to fix a problematic spot, that is bowing and intonation, right? We always go for intonation first. I use the phrase divide and conquer. So it used to mean in the military terms, it's to make people disagree with each other and fight. But for us, it's a saving grace. We have to divide our hands completely, the tasks, and conquer each goal there. Okay, so here we always put left hand on the slur. Always. So yes, you can play that slowly like this, but don't practice this way. So you want to make sure your shift is light. So let me repeat it. Okay, so now look here. What I would like you to do for practice, lifting these fingers and shift on the last two fingers. Exactly. Did you notice how much lighter the shift was? It's because the fingers, the offending, they were not even on the string. So in slow tempo, my suggestion is always to lift them. You go like this in this segment. So this segment is always okay, right? So let's do the other one, the one that may be already problematic. Yeah, and now I will call it your finger slightly jump. So to be in total control of your movement, you want the fingers to be able to go like that slowly. Yes, doing it without the bow is a good idea because then you're not influenced. And slowly go on the 2/4 without pressure. And again, yeah, exactly. So this is something that is impossible to hear, but it is very effective. So let's do it one more time, starting from 2/4. Just that one shift. That's pretty good. So next phase is immediately speeding up the small portion that you have improved. For instance, here it would be, we'll start from here, and back. In this passage, it is especially necessary because you are coming back, okay? And even on the way back, don't grab, okay? Now a little bit faster. Exactly. And relax your thumb. One more time. Correct. So then what you want to do, you want to practice like that every little segment. How many notes? All right, now we're doing?
Counting the double stop?
Yeah, 4. No, I mean,
okay, so
double stop is 1 note.
Yeah,
so you're doing 4 notes at a time. 4, 3, not more than that. What you showed me in the beginning was many of them, too many. Okay. Now, once you practice these segments, then I would do them in bursts. I call this technique bursts. So you considerably speed them up. The next one, and then because you do them back and forth, you already practiced your way back. So it will be much easier, okay? Number 2, still on the left hand, but already thinking of staccato, right? So one of the difficulties with staccato is we should use very little bow, correct? Okay, so now I want you to play in your tempo. You want you to play very fast, but in tempo that you can do the whole passage, and using very little bow, as little as possible. So I don't know what your speed will be. Let's see. Yeah, so probably this is a little bit maybe too early for you in terms of intonation, but this will be your next stop. Okay, so the next stop here would be to use as little bow as it will be in staccato, hopefully. So even though the sound of it is very tiny. It's not the point. The point is that you're placing fingers in the right place, right, and that in your tempo, and you're using the amount of bow that will be there for staccato.
Mhm.
Okay, so now let's see the staccato itself. What I would like you to do is just to check if your staccato is good, and we can check it. Now only right hand. We divide and conquer. We do the right hand now. So for the right hand, while your left is still being learned, don't play all the notes. Double every note, just like that. Correct. Okay, so now let me see how your actual staccato is. Yes. Staccato is okay. What you want to do is to bite. Because you're repeating the two of them for a reason. So you want to be a little bit more bitey and release more and just feel it. For that, it's better to bite just one, not to bite every note. Okay, that's the important part. Okay? Correct. And so when we are playing in a faster tempo, also you will use it. You can accentuate those notes that are on the beat with this sort of a little bit bite, and it helps you with the bowing itself. So now what I would like you to do, doubling like this, saving the bow just like you did, and play the whole thing like this. Okay, so now the task is harder now for the right hand, because you have many more staccato things than even you will have, but that's good. Okay, so save the bow. Exactly. Okay, so right now we will go to the second spot, and why don't you refresh our memory on it? Okay, pretty good. Actually, pretty good. Tell me which one of those double spots, because obviously there are many of them, which one or ones are especially troublesome for you?
When I go to fourth position on E string.
Right. Yeah. There is a reason
a little
for
bit flat.
Correct. Flat or just maybe unstable.
And uncomfortable.
Yeah, and uncomfortable. And I can see it in your posture also. So first thing we might want to do, we might want to try you to be less frightened. Not that it will fix your intonation necessarily, although it might sometimes, but just so not to feel, that obsessive about getting it, because a lot of times it doesn't work. Let's go again. Again, knees. Okay, by the way, you see, it's a little bit easier.
Yes.
So the rule number one, when you are looking at something really hard, you have to think, okay, allow yourself one time to be playing it whichever way, whatever God tends, but immediately second time, release your knees, release something in here, don't need to know what exactly, but just release and go. Okay, next thing, let me show you still how you might maybe practice a little bit more efficiently. I don't know how you practice, but I have a good idea that maybe you didn't practice everything on the slur exactly. All right, so let's put it on the slur. Again, we're practicing left hand. We want things smooth. Shifting, the first thing about shift, smooth. What gives the smoothness in the left hand? This. So when this is smooth, it talks to the left hand. The left hand becomes somehow already smoother, even if it's something is still not working. Okay, let's do that. So what I would like to do is to start. Just do the first three notes, up and down on the slur.
Sure.
Okay, what is the awkwardness right in here for all of us in that move?
The shifting D
Right.
to
So our first finger first is on D string, and then it has to find itself on both strings. So we have to shift diagonally. I have a video on it that is called Preparation of the Sixths. So you might want to watch it. Okay, it talks about all of that diagonal sliding of the fingers. And in that, you're already doing it, but for people who don't know, in that you will see you have to put fingers flatter. We're involved with double stops, especially sixths or fifths, flatter. So here, so if you shift lightly, like this, things are much easier. So if we press and we're in this shape, not so good. If we press less and we're in flatter shape, you can easily slide onto another string. And again, you hear how the sound was really like this, both in the bow and in the left hand. Flatter, flatter, flatter. Yeah. Again, and relax those fingers. See? So easy. And then on the way back the same way. In here, it's again very important. Your passage goes up and comes back exactly the same way. Okay. I call this technique a looping technique. When we repeat exactly the same notes backwards on the next bow, without repeating, without taking the bow. But in fact, in here, looping is phenomenal because you come back that way. Okay, so now let's go to the difficult one that you said, into the fourth position. And again, make sure that you are flat, even flatter. How do we exactly see? You're doing the right thing. Yeah, you cannot do flat if your elbow is here. Maybe not so much, just kind of, yeah, just like experience the hanging. Yeah, it's a bit different feel, isn't it? Yeah. Exactly. So I call it also like it streamlines the movement. You know, you kind of aerodynamic. Okay. All right. Yes. Okay. So let's start from that shape. Yeah. Okay. But again, you're not as flat as I would like you to be. Yeah, flat hand, not flat intonation, of course, but flat hand. Okay. So there are two ways of tackling this thing. Your second finger could be on one string on the note of G, just like normally it would be, right? And then we can use the technique we use just like here for the first finger to slide lightly, diagonally. We can use the same technique for the second finger, slide lightly, diagonally. All right, so what I'm doing right now, I eliminated the fourth finger to show just the movement of the second. So the second has to cross over lightly to the A string. Okay, so let's do that. Yeah, no, just exactly what I showed. So not the fourth, but one and two. Yeah. Ooh, it's heavy. Siren. Siren means heavy. No siren. Shh. Better and back. And back. Oh no, siren again. Correct. And so then, of course, another goal is you have to arrive there. Make sure you arrive into clean fourth. And if it's not, of course, you will adjust it, yes, and then you will repeat it, and so on. So you need to learn how to arrive cleanly. So rule of intonation number 2, after the first one, when you diagnose what's out of tune, right? Second one, you learn to arrive cleanly. Now we will do the same thing with the fourth finger. Flat hand, very flat. Just like that, okay? Flatter hand, flatter hand. Much lighter when you go up. No, you're not flat. You're not flat. So if I put you like this, what will happen with your fourth? Can you move slightly here? Yeah, you see, even a little bit soft. Yeah, softer knuckle here is very important. So it's not like this, but like this. And then fourth finger you do by rotating your hand more. exactly. So again, we're not really clean on the top fourth yet, but the main thing is the correct movement and of lightness. And it was almost light enough. Almost. You'll get there. You have to practice it. That was the first more difficult way, I think, to get there. There's a little bit easier way. Again, it's individual. It may work for somebody, it may not. So the second one, just like our first finger is on 2 strings, we play second one on 2 strings. Okay. So when you're playing that
Yes.
third, the second one goes. Now you see, it's really different shape. So for that to go, it will be even flatter here. Yeah. So, no, I don't see that. Yeah, just really okay. So let's put it this way. Let me show. That's what you want to have, and then you put this. Then you put your fourth. And now fourth. Yes, you see, because you got the fifth, you turn the fourth. Well, you simply can do it. All right. So now let's put them together. Correct. Yes. Can you guess why that might be a very good thing to do?
Because the second finger is flatter now.
What?
The second finger is flatter now.
Yes, but why will this position
Because
be
we're
very
changing,
beneficial? Yes,
shifting
exactly,
direction.
because then we do not even have to cross strings. Well, or we a little bit cross. We start a little bit on A, and then as you move, you allow yourself to move a little bit. Yeah. So if it works for you, this is an easier one. Okay. Some people with very thin fingers, they just won't be able to do it. But with a little bit more thick cushions here, absolutely. So now do it slowly on the slur. Now in this way. Now on the way back, you're welcome to slide all the way out because you won't need it. Beautiful. That was a very successful one. Then what we do next? We speed it up. Try it now, Evan. Don't worry about intonation right now. Try shape and lightness. Ta-da-dum, ta-da-dum, like that. So yes, to make it lighter, we are sliding at this point on the second finger because second is on both strings. Fourth just lifts off as we go. Don't need to worry about your fourth finger. If everything is light, nobody will hear what exactly you're doing. Yeah, you know what I think what happens right at this point? You have not yet trained to get the fifth on the second finger. So that's all right. You don't need to get the whole thing right now. But that is something I think you will benefit while practicing first, just the fifth. So it's a second way of treating that uncomfortable slide. Okay, so after that, pretty much, if you're doing this all on slurs, it is harder for the left hand because left hand is very then connected. It's smoother, yet you hear everything. So now once you go to changing the bows, you will notice how much easier that everything is because everything becomes a little bit hidden. All your shifts, light shifts, still become hidden. And then you start even getting a little off the string like you showed me. Perfect. It will not be difficult at all. Okay, it will be very effective technical virtuosic spot. All right, so I hope this has been helpful to everybody. Certainly would be helpful for Lucas. I know it. I will see him next week and we will continue. And at this point, I would like to thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't yet, like, and I will see you all later.